All right, well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to our webinar on the 2019 Farm Radio Listening Habits Wave 2. And thank you very much for the opportunity, NAFB, to work with you on these results. I think they show that radio continues to be a driving force in communicating with farmers, and that farmers rely on farm radio for a lot of information needs, and continues to be strong since the last time we did this study in 2017. So this is your research. Feel free to ask questions as we go along or keep them till the end. Either way works for me. But let's go ahead and get started. One of the things we do is we ask people to take pictures of themselves listening to farm radio, and this young fellow is getting the weather report on his way to the field in the morning. So one of the things we also ask is, what are you listening for at this time of year? And of course, weather is markets, news, markets, weather. This year in particular, probably a lot of weather, but also a lot of market and news as the trade situation continues to be bended. The weather was horrible this year, and in fact, we delayed data collection for a couple of weeks in recognition of the delayed spring. But pretty much everyone is looking for markets, news, weather, information, and a little bit of commentary. This is Steve. He takes farm radio with him wherever he goes. He takes the radio into the tractor, the pickup, and in the shop. He's listening all day for the information that will help him make decisions and do the right thing for his farm. A little bit about our background and objectives. We've been completing this wave study, 4 waves per year. We started in 2015. We repeated it again in 2017. And the results are clear and compelling. Farm radio is an important part of a farmer's day, and it's a very important way they receive timely news and information. We also took a look at the credibility of farm broadcasters, and very excellent news there. So this is David. He's listening to a farm show while he's completing his field work. One of the things we find is that people like content, and the more content, the better. The more content you offer, the more they will listen. One of the other things that came out loud and clear, particularly through the selfies this year, is that radio helps make decisions. This fellow is going out to check beans to see if he needs to replant. Corn is limit up. That's great news. So he's going out to replant to drown out pods while listening to farm commentary. So he's able to take in information, make decisions, and move along, all while continuing his daily work. So this is our first question during this time of year. What are your daily news sources for farming, agricultural news, weather, and markets? And you can see farm radio as strong #1 at 82%, publications down here at 49%. And the other really nice thing is that this is consistent pretty much across all income categories. We look at our results 2 ways, one by income category and the other by age. And you can see these numbers are all very consistent. Here, this 5+ million, the very largest farmers, a little bit less, but our sample size is very small. So we're very confident that that's pretty consistent with the other income categories. Taking a look at the lesser used sources, only 1 in 3 farmers uses the internet source as their daily news source. But company, industry websites, sites that he seeks out, email newsletters from publications, all very important. Social media comes in last at about 16%. Text notifications we're actually finding growing, particularly among this larger segment, but again, pretty small sample sizes, so it's hard to say if that's true across the board. Doesn't matter whether you're young or old, radio is the #1 news source for daily news, farming, weather, and markets, 74% among the younger 50 crowd and 83% for the 50 and over crowd. But you can see very clear leadership across all age categories. The other thing we ask is, how long do you listen? And we find that the average listener spends more than an hour on a typical weekday listening to the farm radio broadcast, 73 minutes this wave. And again, very consistent across all income categories, which is great news. and they're listening throughout the day. 70% listen from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Among the younger farmers, older farmers, it's 57%. See these younger farmers, a high percent of them are listening throughout the day, and even 25% of farmers, both young and old, are listening after 4 p.m. Younger farmers spend a little bit more time listening to the radio than older farmers. This difference isn't significant, but it's a nice trend line. 78 minutes among younger farmers, 72 minutes among older farmers. And we find that younger farmers listen more because they're more active. They're out in the field, they're out trucking, they're out driving to town for parts, they're driving to town for work, and radio goes with them. We find that 2/3 of farmers listen to farm radio at least 5 days per week. This is trend lines for how many days you listen, and the overall line is the thicker black line. 35% listen 5 out of 7 days, 16, 6 out of 7, 15, 7 out of 7, so 31 and 35 is 66%. So 2/3 listen at least 5 days a week. It indicates a high amount of loyalty and consistency among your listenership. One of the things we find when we get the selfies back is just how hardworking people are. This is Justin in Georgia. He's listening while he's planting soybeans. Makes the day go a little bit faster, makes the hard work go a little bit easier. And that's a really nice thing about radio. It goes with you where you are. And we can see that people are driving, they're operating farm equipment. Young people are rarely in the house when they listen, but older folks are. Young people are trucking grain or livestock while they're listening. So you can see people are out there, they're active, they're doing their work, and they're listening to farm radio. AM radio continues to be strong. Even among younger farmers, 64% of younger farmers listen on AM, 63% listen to FM. So you can see that they're switching bands to get all the farm information they can consume. 39% have a satellite subscription. Work trucks continue to lead where the subscriptions are. 77% said it's in their work truck or pickup, and you can see that's pretty consistent across the board. And as well, a lot of people have them in their passenger cars as well. Ag markets and commodity prices are always the number one thing that farmers are listening for. So you can also see that weather, farm commentary, local and regional ag news, insights from Washington, World Ag Trade News came up a little bit this time. Farmers are really interested in what's going on with the China talks, with the NAFTA talks. All those things affect their daily decisions much more than we might think that those events affect our daily life. So farmers are very cognizant of that, always listening, trying to find out what to do to make the best decisions. Radio helps plan the day. This young man goes out for chores, listens to the morning weather report. It's going to be too windy to spray. That means we're going to go in the shop, and we're going to be working on the tractors and listening to the market report. Saturday radio listening habits. Greg is an 1,800-acre grower from Kansas. He's listening to the farm markets while planting and also in his pickup. And we see that Saturday radio listening is consistent across income as well. 47% say they listen to Saturday farm radio. Very consistent across all income categories. And they're still listening about an hour, 59 minutes on average. And again, that's very consistent across all income categories as well. Uh, 50% of the under 50 crowd listen, 46% of the 50 plus crowd listen. So you can see that Saturday listening is consistent across all age categories. We find that younger farmers, again, listen a little bit longer. And again, these numbers aren't significantly different, but it does show a trend line that's encouraging and important, and that is that radio has young farmers' attention. During a typical Saturday, farmers are listening throughout the day, but again, young farmers are listening more often, more frequently. So this is very good news for farm radio as well. A lot of attention throughout the day, even on a Saturday, among all farmers, but particularly among the younger farmers. I'm on his pickup on the way to work. Arnie listens to the market report. One of the things that's always important to remember is that farmers have oftentimes another job that allows them to continue to be farmers. And that's an important time for them to listen to farm information as well. And in addition, we're seeing that people are using headphones to multitask, using headphones to listen to the radio while they might be in a situation where they can't listen to a regular radio. Arnie is listening while he's mowing his lawn. We took a look at ag television viewing, and a kind of common man here is Scott, 3,000-acre Wisconsin grower. He watches television in the morning, gives him a sense of what's happening around the country and the world so that he can plan his day and also think about what he needs to get done that day. And again, very much an information-hungry crowd. Farming really depends upon global activity and national activity, not just what's happening on your farm or in your area. So we find that 62% watch television for ag-related programming during this time of year, and that actually goes up. Again, these sample sizes are kind of small, but very much an excellent indicator that farm television is also a very important source of information for people during the springtime. Overall viewing is about half an hour, 34 minutes, and again, pretty consistent across the board. Older farmers are significantly more likely to watch ag television than younger farmers during this time of year, and that's because, again, we find that young farmers are out there working in the fields, trucking the grain, getting the seed ready to plant, and so they're just not in the house watching television at this time of year. Those that do spend time with television are pretty much spending the same amount of time, 32 minutes and 35 minutes, so everybody's watching about a half hour of ag TV during the day. Podcasts. This is Jared, a beef rancher in Montana. He doesn't listen to podcasts. He listens to radio in the afternoon for the markets and the livestock reports. But we do find that podcasts have been listened to by 38% of the sample this time, pretty consistent across income levels. And podcasts are, kind of a unique long format, and I think they show an opportunity for farm broadcasters to maybe go ahead and get some longer format material out there in the market. Half of farmers who listen to podcasts have done so within the past month, so we see sort of frequent listeners over here, less frequent listeners over here. 17% said it's been more than 6 months since they listened to a podcast on any topic. But the other key finding is that most of them who have listened to an agricultural topic. So 89% of those people that have listened to a podcast have listened to an agricultural topic. Again, very hungry for information. So embrace the power of and, I always say. There's so much information that farmers can take in. They don't like to be overwhelmed, but they do like to have a great feeling for what's going on in their farm, their area, and their world. Taking a look at when they listen to an agricultural topic, 4% listen today, 21% listen this week, 19% this month. A little bit more of a majority there have listened within either 6 months or more than 6 months. Overall podcast listenership is down from winter, but the ag podcasts have increased. So we see that young farmers a little bit more likely, but again, sample sizes are small, so these aren't significant differences. A little bit more likely to have listened to a podcast, ever listened, and then more likely to have listened to a topic about agriculture. So again, just a lot of interest in topics and agricultural information. Younger listeners tend to listen a little more frequently. 9% said they listened today, 12% this week, 38% this month, where you can see the older growers and farmers more likely to have listened within 6 months or more than 6 months. Younger farmers are also significantly more likely than older farmers to listen to farm broadcasts on another medium, such as some sort of internet program. 41% of the under 50 have done so. And I think that just indicates they're really interested in the content provided by radio and looking for ways to access that content, even if they can't be listening, in real time. Taking a look at farm broadcaster perceptions, this is Chris. He's listening to the USDA crop market report, probably at noon, probably around the kitchen table. And what we find is that local farm broadcasters are very highly rated on the three most important things: timely information, accurate information, and credibility. You can see overall 8.6 on credibility. And younger farmers and older farmers alike, very, very impressed with their local farm broadcaster. We can compare that to their sense of the national news media credibility. You can see among younger farmers in particular, farm broadcasters are much more than twice as credible as a national news personality or a national news media, not just the personalities. Taking a look at online information seeking, again, embrace the power of and. This is Michael. He uses multiple forms of media. He subscribes to paid newsletters to get really deep market information, but he also spends 120 minutes a day listening to radio 5 days a week. So he is deeply engaged in collecting information that will help him help his farm, and radio is a key part of that. In June, people spend less time online looking for farm news and weather than in March. You can see here in June, numbers are down from March. This, again, sample size is not super high, so the numbers aren't necessarily down, but we do find, at least here in the morning, a little bit less looking for information online than in the wintertime. Younger farmers more likely to be online, and this number is significant. So the younger farmers are 81% of them are spending some time online looking for farm information between 6 and 9. Only 44% of older farmers. Patterns are pretty similar through the rest of the day. One of the other things that comes clear and abundantly clear through the pictures that farmers send in is that they are multitasking information. This gentleman says, the end of another long day, no time to sit at the computer. He's listening to the news on TV, looking at news on my smartphone related to growing conditions in my region of the country. So looking not only to the news, but what other farmers are experiencing to help him in his decision-making processes. Taking a little bit about our demographics, this again is the same gentleman. He's checking the grain markets on the radio at lunchtime. You can see he's loaded up, ready to go plant, but wanting to make sure he's also keeping a handle on the grain markets. Average acres in June were 1,731. About 52% had some sort of dairy or livestock in their operation. And taking a look at comparisons with 2017, Wave 2, what we find is that radio just continues to be strong. 82% in 2019 said farm radio was a daily news source, 78% in 2017. Again, consistent across the board for 2019, so very excellent reception of farm radio across all income categories. On a typical weekday, how many minutes do you spend? 73 was the average this year compared to 66 in 2017, so they're up slightly. It's a good trend. And again, consistent across the board. Use of FM has declined slightly. since 2017, but AM has remained consistent, and satellite radio is up just a titch. But again, these numbers are well within the range of statistical confidence. Saturday farm radio listening is constant from 2017, 47% this year, 49% in 2017. Again, very consistent across the board. Ag television viewing is also steady, consistent across the board, and 62% watching farm TV in this way this year. Similar minutes, 34 minutes this year, 37 minutes in 2017. One of the things we think might account for both the slight increase in 2017 of television viewing compared to this year, and also the minutes, is just the season. Although we did, as I said, delay data collection a little bit, the planting season just went on and on and on. And so people have to be in the house to be able to watch ag television. So our conclusions is radio continues to be a powerful communications medium to reach farmers. Use of farm radio is steady to up from 2017. Minutes listened per day is up slightly. Ag television viewership continues to be strong. Farm broadcasters' credibility is strong and continues to strengthen. And the more programming you offer, the more farmers are watching and listening. And podcasts might be a medium to expand as all ages are interested in them, especially younger farmers. And I think it offers an opportunity to have a longer format content. It's not a duplicate of radio, but an extension of radio rather than a replacement. It's a way to get more information out, deeper information. Might be appealing to a smaller segment of the audience, but I think it definitely has the potential for growth for radio. Taking a look at our next steps, we'll be doing this again in August and November and offering reports after each wave. So thank you all very much. Radio and the road, just a perfect duo for everyone. So thank you so much. Are there any questions? Well, if there's no questions, I again want to thank NAFB for the opportunity to work with you, and you guys are doing a great job, and I look forward to seeing the results of Wave 3. And also, if anyone wants to contact me directly, you can certainly go through Erin at NAFB, but my email, I'll put it in the chat box, and feel free to contact me with any questions or concerns. Again, thanks for listening, and have a great day.